So today we're going to be teaching our computer to draw from a text file. Pretty fun, I think at least. So we'll try it out. So we're going to make a try and catch. So that whatever we do, if there's problems, we just say we don't care. So the first thing I need to do is I need to make a file that my computer will read the instructions from. So we will say file F equals new file, and I will call it drawing.txt. If you will remember, when you do this, it does not actually create a new file. It just tells the computer that a file exists called drawing.txt. If you would like to actually create it, you have to do what instruction? F.create new file. Or whatever you call the file. It may be file, or if you called it Bobby Joe, then it would be bobbyjoe.create new file. But you have to create a new file. And it looks like nothing happened, and nothing comes up on the output. But when you go to Files, and you look in Chapter 6, you will see a drawing.txt. Woohoo! So we're going to set up a system where we use numbers to tell the computer what instruction we want to do, and then it will follow the instruction with the rest of the numbers that are in the line. So we'll first try draw a line, and draw a line will be a 0. Good? Whenever we see a 0 in the drawing.txt, we will know that that means to draw a line. So we'll draw a line from, I don't know, 1212 to 12,500. So in my drawing.txt, I'm going to put 0, because 0 will represent draw line, and then these will be the 4 numbers in my draw line. So far, so good? I went to Files, and it was under Chapter 6, and I called it drawing.txt. You have to run the program one time so it creates that new file. So then, I will go and I will create a scanner. You don't have to erase to create new file. You can leave it. It's a harmless function.
So you write this after that?
Yes, ma'am. So then we're going to say while scan dot has next. And the first number will always mean the instruction. So I'm going to say int instruction equals scan.nextInt. So then, if the instruction was 0, then that means that they want me to draw a line, right? So they give me 4 numbers after it. So I'll just do g.drawLine. And I'll read in the 4 numbers, and as I read them, I'll just give them to the drawLine function. So after we put in the 4 numbers, you'll see that when you run the program, there is a vertical line that goes from 1212 to 12500. So the next instruction we should do would be draw a rectangle, right? So draw a rectangle will be represented by the number 1, and there are 4 numbers for the draw rectangle, right? The x, the y, the width, the height. So let's make a rectangle at 30, 30, that is 15 by 60. And then in my instruction, I will say if instruction is equal to 1, g.drawLine, not draw line, sorry, draw rectangle, and then I will do all 4 scan-ins. So that when you run it, there's a rectangle where I told it to put one. So you'll see that we filled in on the next 3 numbers as 2 being fill rectangle, 3 being draw oval, and 4 being fill oval. All these required 4 numbers, and so then we put them on the testing. We gave each of them 4 numbers. And if you want to have an even spacing, you can hit tab between all your numbers. Whoops. You can count them easily if you hit tab at the right spot. So when you run it, I have 1 of each. And I could put as many of any one as I want. So I could have a bunch of these. And it doesn't matter. Okay, so now we're going to do the draw arc. And so the draw arc requires a little bit of explanation because everyone that we've done up to now has only required 4 numbers. But draw arc requires how many numbers? 6. So if you'll notice, every line has 5 total numbers. 1 is for the instruction, and then the other 4 is for the extra 4 numbers. So on draw arc, instruction number 5, how many numbers need to follow it? 6 other numbers, right? So we have 5. Number 5 is draw arc. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to say number 5 will be to draw arc. The top left corner of the imaginary circle will be at 100, 100. It'll start at angle 25, and it will go 80 degrees around the circle. Oh, nope, I missed 2 numbers. I didn't tell you how big it was going to be. It'll be a 30 by 30. There we go. So because draw arc requires different numbers, a different number of numbers, then those lines that have a 5 will have more numbers on them. Make sense? And then we can go back to my instructions and I just do the same thing, and I know that if I put a 5 then I will have 6 numbers behind it. We can also follow the same logic for fill art or fill art. So we'll do that as well. All right, so we put 5 and 6 in. 5 was draw arc, 6 was fill arc. We both had 6 numbers, and so we ran them. And now we have a draw arc and a fill arc. The last one we're going to do will be number 7, and it will be set color. And colors are represented by how many numbers? 3. So we have a red, green, and blue. So this one has to max out at 256. You cannot put any number higher than 256 here. 255. 255 is the max because 0 counts as a number. Anyway, so just to be safe, I'll do 100, 200, and 68. And if I just set the color, will I see any difference in my program? No, because it's just picking up a paintbrush. I actually haven't painted anything. So I'll just do a quick fill rectangle, which is number 3. Is it number 3? Fill rectangle is number 2? Okay, fill rectangle is number 2. So I will fill a rectangle at 0, 0, and I will make it 1,000 by 1,000. Oh, that'll be bad. I'll make it 100 by 100. 1,000 by 1,000 would cover the whole screen. So then, you just come back to your 1, and we have one more. If instruction equals 7, g.set color, new color, scanned on extent, scanned on extent, scanned on extent. Oh, look at that pretty rectangle it's filled in. So as a small addition to this program, we wrote a second program called Making Drawing Instructions, where we just went to the drawing file. We made a print writer that would just append, and our file writer that would append, and the print writer that prints with the file writer. We asked the user if they'd like to do any of these and things that we had them offer, and then they would give us a number, and then we would, based on the number, ask them or tell them to enter however many numbers we needed. So if it was draw a line, or rectangle, fill a rectangle, draw oval, fill oval, we said please give us 4 numbers. If it was one of the arc commands, we asked for 6, and if it was one of the color commands, we asked for 3. We scanned in the next line just to get rid of that enter that they probably hit, and then we gave them, or we asked for all the numbers they wanted. We ran it in as a string because it doesn't matter how we read it in, and we trusted that they would give us the right amount of numbers. And so once we got that string in, we printed out the instruction with the space and the string, and then we flushed it, we closed. And so then you'll find that that when you run it, it adds it to the drawing.txt, and then when you run the teaching to draw, it will draw the shape that you asked it to. So that concludes making instructions for drawing.